Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and very good morning. First and foremost, let me welcome all of you to this program that is The World Today, a conversation with Ambassador. My name is Ahmad Al-Muhammadi and I'm your host for this program today. So, ladies and gentlemen, The World Today, a conversation with Ambassador is actually an ICAM's brand new program that aim to provide a platform to discuss a wide range of global issues with ambassadors from various countries who are residing here in Malaysia, especially the issues of mutual interest between Malaysia and the sending countries. So by doing so, we can have a better understanding on the effort by various countries in addressing certain issues and countries' policy. So Alhamdulillah, today in this program we are honored to have His Excellency Mr. Amir Salim Yüksel, the Ambassador of Turkey to Malaysia. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, His Excellency, and thank you very much for being with us this morning.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you very much for inviting me to Institute of Islamic Understanding of Malaysia, first of all, and I think it's a privilege to be here in Malaysia, and thank you. I hope that I can pass and convey our understanding, our messages to the listeners of this institute.
You're welcome, Ambassador. So before we start our conversation this morning, let me introduce His Excellency Mr. Amir Salim Yüksel. He was born in 1972 and received his Bachelor of Degree in International Relations in 1994 and Master Degree, Bachelor in the Istanbul University Faculty of Economics, and Master Program in International Relations from the Middle East Technical University, Social Sciences Institute in 1988. And he has a long diplomatic career, starting from 1997 as the attaché, and then he moved up to the third secretary, the attaché Turkish Embassy, and also second secretary Turkish Embassy in Sarajevo, and later on back to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Turkey as the second secretary, Deputy General Directorate for Bilateral Political Affairs, the first secretary, and then later on the head of section, Deputy Directorate General for European Union, and later on 2013-2017 head of department, cabinet of minister at the foreign ministry, the consul general in Barcelona, and later on the head of department, deputy directorate general for cultural diplomacy at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Turkey, the special counselor to deputy foreign minister at the ministry, and the deputy director general for cultural diplomacy at the ministry, and the latest one is the ambassador designate of the Republic of Turkiye to Malaysia from June this year. So, as you can see that His Excellency has a long diplomatic career. So, to begin our conversation this morning, perhaps, ladies and gentlemen, let us find out, His Excellency, how long that you've been here in Malaysia, and how do you find Malaysia so far?
Well, thanks very much again. I think first and foremost, I think it's a privilege to be in Malaysia for a Turkish diplomat. I think it's a very important position, a very important friendly country in Southeast Asia, and our relations are excellent. In that sense, I feel myself very, very privileged to be appointed here with our brothers and sisters working here. And it's been almost 3 months. I started my job in Malaysia, and I had the opportunity and privilege to present my credentials to His Majesty Agong on the 27th of July. And from now on, I am the ambassador and the plenipotentiary of extraordinary and plenipotentiary ambassador of Turkey to Malaysia. And inshallah, I will be trying to further our relations and already existing excellent relations to another step, inshallah, with the help of our colleagues and our brothers and sisters in Malaysia. So I can say that I'm at the beginning of my career in Malaysia, but inshallah we will be doing something meaningful for the benefit of both countries, inshallah.
Inshallah. So, His Excellency, if you look back in history, Malaysia and Turkey has a long long relations. Maybe starting from the pre-independence era, and actually Turkey has a special place in the heart of the people in the Southeast Asia, especially in Malaysia. When we mention about Turkey and when we mention about Ottoman Caliphate, it brings certain memories and sentiment in the heart of Muslim people here in Malaysia. So, would you share with us briefly on the historical development or the history of our relations, which is, I believe, that is not only political but also cultural, social, and people-to-people relation, and so on. Please.
Well, indeed, exactly what you're saying. That's very important. I think our relations goes back to many centuries ago, actually, before being Malaysia and before being Turkey, actually, so to say. The relations between our people dates back actually at the beginning of the 16th century, I can say that. And because at that moment, because of some political problems in this area, there was a call from the people living in here. There was a call from the Muslims living in this area against the Portuguese, against the Portuguese colonizers trying to enter this area. And at that moment, the Ottoman Empire, they sent a kind of navy, I think 5 or 6 ships, for the help of the Muslim people here. And then there were some struggles and there were some battles between those navies. And then we can say that those are the first contacts between the Ottoman Empire and the people living around Malaysia, including Banda Aceh right now, and of course the Malacca as well. And then, of course, after some time, we had also contacts at the beginning of at the end of the 19th century, actually, during the 1890s. There were some contacts between the Sultanate of Johor and the Ottoman Empire at that moment. Those were some diplomatic contacts. There were some, how can I say, there were some exchange of letters between Johor and the Ottoman Empire at that moment. And there was an emissary coming from the Johor as well. We can see we can clearly see these exchange of letters from the Ottoman Empire, actually, Ottoman archives, excuse me, in Istanbul right now. Actually, we had the opportunity and privilege to show the originals of those letters and archives to Her Majesty Queen Aziza during her visit in August. So it's a solemn symbols of the connections between Malaysia and Turkey in that sense. Of course, then we can come to the 20th century. In 1957, there was the Declaration of Independence of Malaysia, and then there was the establishment of the diplomatic relations in 1964 between two countries. And then we sent our first ambassador to Malaysia in 1976. And then, of course, now here we are after some time, almost, how can I say, almost 50 years. And while taking the opportunity, I would like to actually once again congratulate the 65th anniversary of the independence of Malaysia.
Yes, thank you.
Because I had the opportunity to be in the Merdeka Day, actually, for the parade. I saw that, and I was a witness of the unity and the pride and of course the power of Malaysia. And I was very proud of the situation of our brothers in that sense.
Yeah, His Excellency, you mentioned about the documents that is found in the Ottoman archive. So this is you meaning that we can access, we can see this for example, maybe for the researchers who want to study about this kind of
Yes,
document?
of course. Ottoman archives is one of the most important archives in the world. There are more than 50 million documents in the archives, and most of them are digitalized right now. And of course, we show the originals to Her Majesty. But of course, I think it's open to the researchers to see the archives in a digital way. Some of them are reachable online, but some of them only accessible to go there and to see you can check the digital catalogs, and then you can see the photos of these documents.
Amazing. Yeah, that's why I said that it is more than, it is not just a recent relation, but it extended back to 16th century, and it's continued to evolve. And I think if we observe the recent development, I think there is a deepening relations between Turkey and Turkiye and Malaysia. Last night, I listened to the speech by President Erdogan in New York, in the United Nations General Assembly, and he mentioned that Turkey will be a part of the solution, not part of the problem. And I think this shows the growing role playing in Turkey at the regional and also at the global scene. And for me, as the researcher in the area of counterterrorism and also humanitarian issues, I can see that Turkey plays a very, very important role in hosting refugees from a conflict zone like Syria. And there are a million people there, if not mistaken. There are a lot of humanitarian groups, NGOs there, work operating in Istanbul and around Turkey. I believe that this is very, very challenging for a country like Turkey to receive like in large amount of people at one time. Would you share with us your experience managing this humanitarian works in Turkey, His Excellency?
Well, as you have rightly pointed out, it's a unique challenge. It was and it's still a unique challenge for Turkey. Since 2011, actually, it's been a difficult decade in terms of Syrians moving to Turkey, and of course we opened up our borders for the people who wants to flee from the war and internal displacement from Syria. And at the moment, let's come to our date today. Actually, at the moment, Turkey is the biggest hosting country of refugees, so to say, in the world, actually. And we have almost 4 million people, displaced people living in Turkey right now. And out of these 4 million, 3.6 million is Syrians. And it's a unique challenge because of we still give how can I say free health, free education, social security to all the Syrians living in Turkey, free of charge, everything, all the services. In addition to that, it is important to note that Turkey is doing this with his own resources, with only little or some little help from outside. Actually, those help is coming from outside, going directly to the Syrians or the displaced people living in Turkey. Actually, all the other. That means that we are not taking money from outside for the expenses of the Syrians, and all the burden of the people living in Turkey right now is on the shoulders of Turkish economy at the moment. And in the beginning we had some camps for the Syrians, but now only 40,000 people are living in camps, and the rest of the Syrians, they are all dispersed in the country. They are living and they are working and they are getting education from our schools in different cities in Turkey. So we are happy to be a host country, actually, in that sense. But of course, at the same time, we are happy in the sense that it's important to give shelter to the people who wants to flee from violence, from war, and from problems from their own country. But also, it's an important burden that we have to shoulder in our shoulder for our economy. But we think that it's our job, it's our responsibility to give to take this responsibility. And of course, Turkey is an important player in the sense that when you look at the wider geography of Turkey, around geography, there are lots of problems around.
Yeah.
And of course, Turkey is, when you see that Turkey is an island it's a kind of oasis of stability and the powerhouse for the region. And of course, our understanding goes beyond our neighbors. It goes to the global problems, regional problems in different areas. So we think that Turkey should play a role in the global scene, as our president yesterday told to the listeners in the General Assembly general debate in the UN General Assembly this year.
Yes, it is very wonderful conversation and a very huge responsibility on the part of Turkey to play at the regional and also international level. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll take a short break and we'll come back right after this. Okay, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the program. So that is The World Today, a conversation with Ambassador. And for those people who just joined us, this is The World Today, a conversation with Ambassador. And here with me is His Excellency Mr. Emir Salim Yüksel, is Ambassador of Turkey to Malaysia. So, His Excellency, we talked a little bit just now about the growing roles that Turkey plays at the regional and also international levels. Now, if we look at the location of Turkey on the map, we can see that Turkey is strategically located between two continents, the west and the east. So we can see therefore that this location is a very strategic, and we want to know how does Turkey undertake this important role, especially becoming the bridge between the east and the west, His Excellency.
Well, thanks very much. I think it's a very important question. Actually, it's not something new. I mean, it's been like that for centuries.
Yes.
So, so to say, actually, we are a bit used to be a bridge, between the West and the Islamic countries, and the Islamic world in general. And when we think about today's foreign policy of Turkey, that's important to note that when you look at in a general framework of the policy, you can see that, for example, Turkey is a member of NATO, is a member of OIC, and Organization of Islamic Countries, and at the same time is a member of D8, Developing 8, and also Malaysia is a member of that group as well as OIC. And Turkey is also a member of, is a sectoral dialogue of ASEAN, for example. Malaysia plays an important role in ASEAN, as we all know. And at the same time, Turkey is also a member of G20. And and there are some other regional pacts, some regional organizations, economic organizations. So actually, kind of geography dictates some roles to Turkey, actually. But of course, at the same time, Turkey dictates its own understanding and its foreign policy to, in a sense, to the general developments happening around Turkey. And I think Turkey yes, it's a bridge between geographically, it's a bridge between West and the Islamic countries and the Islamic world, but also, of course, culturally, it plays the same role for a long time, and this is. You can see, as I told you, the membership of Turkey to the different organizations, which is located in different areas, different regions of the world.
Yes.
And our mindset, our understanding is adjusted. Actually, we can say that to understand both worlds. Of course, there are some differences between two worlds, in the Western world and the Islamic world. But of course, again, as I told you, we are used to that role, and we are used to think for both regions, because all we would like to play in this sense as a role is to achieve peace and stability in and around Turkey. That's very important. So all we want for the Western world, of course, in a global sense, of course, for the Islamic countries, the Islamic world, is that we would like to live in peace, with stability, in order to reach a common understanding between two worlds. As a country, for example. Yes, it seems that Turkey is a bit in the European side, geographically, but of course, for example, we declared a new policy in 2019, which we called is Asia anew. So we believe that Turkey has the potential and has the actual will to play the bridging role between two worlds, and Asia anew is the understanding and the declaration of that understanding, looking to Asia, when we see these emerging new developments in the region, and new powers, a new understanding, new challenges with what we live in and around Turkey and Asia, and I think that. Turkey will play its role, taking into consideration of this new policy, and I can say that Malaysia is an important partner for us, for our policy, which we call Asia anew.
Yeah, but as you rightly say, that becoming or playing that role, I believe that it requires certain type of leadership and wisdom, and I can see that there is because for me, as somebody who follow what's going on around the world, I can see that there is a growing influence. There is a more assertive role that Turkey is playing at the regional levels and also international level. So, in your view, what kind of leadership that requires to play this very, very unique role? Because in one part is in Europe, and we have to take care of this NATO, and in this part we have OIC, and then so definitely, just like in Malaysia, we are multiracial country, and therefore we need certain wisdom to manage the differences, especially. So similarly, in the context of Turkey, since naturally it is geographically strategic, and of course its effect, the role that it plays. So in terms of leadership, because what I can see right now is Turkey is having, meaning that the country needs to have a very, very visionary leaders to bring Turkey forward. So what is your take on that?
Well, it's a very important question, and just let me tell you that actually we are always using Turkiye right now.
Exactly.
Not Turkey, actually Turkiye. We have actually, I just want to underline that we have already notified the UN about the official name of the country. Actually, it's now the Republic of Turkey.
Yes.
So just taking the opportunity to once again to call our listeners, our audience, that the name of the country is Turkey anymore.
Turkey
so,
now. Okay.
So we are just paying attention to that. Well, about the leadership, yes, you're right. For the last 20 years, I think Turkey is playing a growing role. But it's not an assertive role, as you have just mentioned. Assertive is not the right word, actually. Our understanding is, our foreign policy, our understanding is based on the principles.
Okay.
So we are not trying to assert, or we are not trying to impose anything to our, let's say, starting with the neighbors and of course, in the wider regions, in the global sense. What we would like to see is that all the countries, members of UN in general, to play their roles based on basic principles, which can be a common denominator for all the countries around the world. So what is this? Of course, this peace. And of course human rights, and of course joint economic development, I can say. And these are the basic understanding. We have also another principle or tenet in our foreign policy. We call it enterprising and humanitarian foreign policy. This is for the last 15 years. This is the foreign policy we are trying to follow. Enterprising and humanitarian foreign policy. As you can say that enterprising means that if we can, open up a little bit the concepts. Enterprising means Turkey takes a leading role, trying to solve the problems in and around its geography, and trying to play its role as much as possible, trying to help allies, trying to help, of course, all friendly countries, to all countries, to solve the problem and to play its part as much as possible. And of course, humanitarian, as I told you, humanitarian is very important because sometimes we see in our region some humanitarian, let's say, big problems that we have to solve.
Yeah.
And for example, just yesterday our president actually touched upon this briefly about this humanitarian crisis which is happening in the Aegean Sea. Actually, there's a flow of irregular migrants trying to go to Europe by sea. They are trying to pass to Greece by sea again, by boats and such kind of things. It happens all actually again in Mediterranean, towards Italy, towards Spain sometimes. And unfortunately, we see very, very sad sceneries, scenes in the TV, dying people trying to pass to the other side of the seas. So what we're trying to do is that Turkey is trying to play its role as much as possible in that sense as well. Yeah. As I told you just now, we are hosting almost 4 million displaced people, and we are trying to give them shelter, free health services, free social services. Some of them has the license to work in Turkey, and I just want to give you some figures. For example, from the 4 million people or 3.6 million Syrians living in Turkey, 40,000 of them are enrolled in universities.
Mashallah.
And 800,000 kids are enrolled in the primary and secondary schools of Turkey. So it's we can say that it's an unprecedented commitment from Turkey, and actually we are really proud of playing this role for the people in general. So this is about leadership. I mean, even the figures can show the leadership that we are trying to play our role in this sense. Enterprising and humanitarian foreign policy, it's not in the words only. You can see that the deeds itself, deeds themselves, the figures that easily show the commitment we have in that sense in our foreign policy.
Yeah. It is not only meaning that the the commitment is not only in word but also in deeds, right? But I believe that, His Excellency, if we look at what Turkey is doing, try to be, I would say, I correct the term that I used just now, assertive, to be meaningful regional and international player. I think that would be more appropriate, perhaps. But I believe that maybe that kind of role can be misunderstood by some people. What is your comment on that?
Sometimes there were some criticism from some people, some countries, saying that, for example, if we you know that in the public opinion there used to be, or there are still some kind of discussions about the foreign policy role playing of Turkey around its region. And they were talking about the change of axis and such kind of things. But I think there is no such thing. The criticism are baseless, we think that. As I said, that Turkey's foreign policy is based on the principles.
Yes.
So we do not change our understanding, and we do not change our foreign policy based on the day-to-day developments. What we think about and what we care about is the principles in that sense. So, for example, we can talk about unfortunately the war in Ukraine between Russian Federation and the Ukraine. Turkey is playing a very important role in that sense, and as an example, we are thankful for that. We have reached, as you know, an agreement between Turkey, Russian Federation, Ukraine, and the UN, a quadripartite agreement for the grain and grain products export of Ukraine to the foreign countries, to alleviate this food security problem that we are living at the moment. And thanks God, we have reached that agreement. And now, for example, just yesterday, we reached the point that Ukraine exported 3 million tons of grain and grain products to the global markets, and this alleviated the burden and the tension in the markets in the sense of food security. So Turkey played this role to solve this food security problem, which affected everybody in the global scenery. And I think we are talking about such kind of leadership that Turkey has the potential and the will to play in the global problems.
Yes, I think that two important points that you mentioned is about leadership, and also it is Turkey's foreign policy is based on principles and for the sake of the regional and international stability. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take another short break, and so keep tuning in to our program, and we'll be right back after the break. So welcome back to the program, and for those people who just joined us, this is The World Today, a conversation with Ambassador, and here with me is His Excellency Mr. Amir Salim Yüksel, the Ambassador of Turkey to Malaysia. So just now we talk a lot about the role of Turkey and then the visionary leadership that we need to have to manage these challenges in the modern times. Now let us talk a little bit about the situation in Turkey right now. So if we compare with other European nations, Turkey boasts the highest number of youth population, His Excellency. So how does the government leverage on this advantage, and what are some of the policies to empower the youth in the country, please?
Well, thank you very much. I think this is also an important question with regards to the youth population we have. I think it's really an advantage that Turkey has its hands, and the youth is important in the sense that of the future of the countries. And the quantity is important. Of course, the quality is also important for the future of each country. And I can give you some examples about the things that we've done actually in Turkey for the youth empowerment in general. For example, we can start with this obligatory of education. It's 12 years at the moment in Turkey. I know that it's also I think 11 years or 12 years in Malaysia as well. Obligatory education is very important for the future generations. And also we in order to draw the attention of the youth and their potential and their enthusiasm into the daily life of Turkey, we decreased the age of to be elected to the parliament to the 18 as well, for example, because it was in 25 before, and now it's 18 to be elected to the parliament. Of course, it's also the same age to vote, 18 exactly. in Turkey. I think that's an important issue as well. And at the moment, we have 209 universities in Turkey, and the number of enrollment in the university is almost 8 million. And we believe that it's going to be, it is the basis of being a powerhouse in terms of economy, in terms of culture, in terms of other issues for Turkey in the future. Out of these 209 universities, 131, I guess, is the government public universities, and the rest are the foundation or the private universities, as we say. And another lively example I would like to share with the audience is that the Technofest. I don't know if you ever heard this name before, but for the last 5 years, since 2008, we are arranging Technofests in different cities in Turkey and some other countries as well. This is about to draw how can I say, the dreams and the capacity of the youth into the technology and the technological advances, and digital world. And this is called Technofest. And we invite all the youth from young generations from in the country to this Technofest, and they are making robots, they are making rockets, and they are making some games, in digital world, and we are trying to how can I say, capitalize on the dreams and the capacity of the young generations in terms of digital world, in terms of economy, and in terms of this technological advances, which will be leading the world in the next years, in the coming years.
Yeah, you rightly say that it is not only about the quantity, but also about the producing, developing quality youth in Turkey. And again, I can see that it is not only in the words, but also in deeds, like Technofest, as you mentioned, like the youth are given the opportunity to develop their talent, to develop their potential. But I think this opportunity is not only for the youth in Turkey. I can see that also based on my reading that Turkey also offers this kind of unique opportunity to other youth in other Muslim world. Like in Malaysia, we have like a scholarship to study in Turkey, for example. So this is another, I think, important commitment, and I would say a gift that the Turkey give to the Muslim world. What is your comment on that?
Well, that's important. Actually, as I told you, we have at the moment 209 universities in Turkey, and Turkey has one of the biggest number of foreign students hosting in Turkey as well. At the moment, as far as I know, last year we had in our universities 200,000 foreign students coming from different countries. It's a big number, 200,000 students for Turkey actually. and I think it will keep growing. And in addition to that, as you have rightly said, that we have a scholarship program which is called the Turkiye Scholarships, and we are giving those scholarships to all the countries, whoever one applies to that to apply that scholarship to study in Turkey. And for example, since the beginning of program until now, as far as I know, almost 300 Malaysian students took that scholarship to study in Turkey. Last year, just recently, we have admitted 21 students from Malaysia to study in Turkey. And but just I would like to underline once again an important issue. This is not based on these scholarships are not based on a fixed number of scholarships for Turkey. We try to decide on the number of applications happening to that program. Mm-hmm. So we never said that we are giving to this country 500 scholarships. We never say that. We get the applications, and then we decide, we try to understand the quality of the applications, and then we give the scholarships to our to fellow brothers and sisters.
Yeah, so I think this is a very, very amazing opportunity, and I believe that Malaysian students were benefiting from that program as well. Now let us turn to the tourism industries. Turkey became one of the most popular tourist destination for Malaysia. Well, I think that it's not only for Malaysian but also for the Turkish people. They also want to come here to see things here in Malaysia. And this is what, based on the observation and reading that I made, I can see that there is a growing numbers of people traveling to Turkey right now, especially after the pandemic. And especially, and it's particularly so, when the Blue Mosque is open. And I think this is very, very significant, not only to the Turkish people, but also to the Malaysian people who are very excited to go there and see by themselves the beauty and the majestic beauty of that mosque. What is your comment on that?
Well, thanks very much. Unfortunately, COVID-19 pandemic was an important back step for everybody. Mm-hmm. Before the pandemic, we have had the opportunity to host almost 120,000 people from Malaysia as tourists, and numbers are decreased right now. But inshallah, we will reach those numbers again in short. And we are very happy to host Malaysian people in Turkey, and they like to actually to visit Istanbul. They like to visit Bursa, and sometimes I know that they are flying to Saudi Arabia for Umrah,
yes.
Or Hajj sometimes, depending on the seasons of the year. And I think it's a very nice tour, taking from Turkey to make a Hajj. It's sometimes I envy myself, that's a nice destination and itinerary actually. And the Hagia Sophia, the opening of the Hagia Sophia is important actually. Yes, you rightly mentioned about that. And Hagia Sophia actually turned out to be a mosque in 1453 actually. It was converted into being a mosque by Sultan Mehmed II actually at that time, after the conquest of Istanbul. And in 1934 it became a museum, and now in 2020 again it became and converted as a mosque, serving to everybody actually, not only Muslims, because we believe that is also an important a very important majestic piece of art and architecture actually, and I think everybody, not only Muslims, everybody should see that important piece of architecture. But of course, the main objective and the main position of this architecture, this building, is being a mosque, serve as a mosque, because it's clearly stated in the foundation deed of Mehmet II, actually, that it's going to serve as a mosque from the moment it was converted as a mosque in 1453, actually.
Yeah, yes, I have witnessed that people are throng at the mosque going there, I think including the Agung who went there recently. He went there to pray Jum'ah in there, and I think that we are here in Malaysia, we are very excited to see that. But maybe, His Excellency, that some people perceive that kind of move to convert that architecture into mosque as something that is different from what they thought, or maybe they perceive it as moving toward Islamization things. So what is your, maybe we have to, or they have failed to understand the wisdom of the opening up the Blue Mosque?
Yeah. Actually, it's not about Islamization. It's not about that idea. As I told you, this is it has been converted into mosque, in 1453, and in the foundation deed of the Mehmet II, there are 7 mosques clearly articulated in that deed to be serve as a mosque from then on. So it became a museum in 1934, but it belongs to the foundation of Mehmet II, and according to our law, because there were some, it became in 2020, it became a mosque again after a legal decision of the courts. Actually, it was not a arbitrary decision coming from the government. Actually, so to say, there were some court decision because somebody opened up a case against this conversion of mosque to the museum again, and after this legal process, the court decided that it should turn out to be a mosque again, taking into consideration of the original will of Mehmet II, which is articulated clearly in the foundation deed of written after the conquest of Istanbul.
Well, I hope that by that explanation, it's clear away the misperception about the.
Yes, it's a Waqf law, actually. Okay. Waqf law. You have the foundation. When I say foundation, actually it means Waqf.
Yes.
So
yes.
Waqfs are very sacred, in the law,
yes.
And they have a very different understanding and a different protection
yes.
in the law. Yes.
Well, I think that's why. It is returned to the original, as you say, foundational deed of the establishment. Yes, exactly. And it's now we are moving towards the end of the discussion. As we can see that in the past 5 years, I think there is a deepening relation between Malaysia and Turkiye. And we can see recently there is a bilateral visit by the Prime Ministers and Agung, and also the defense exhibition here hosted in Malaysia. So, and then the people-to-people movement between these two countries. What is your hope and expectation of this bilateral relation in future?
Well, yes. After the pandemic, after opening of the borders in general, actually, we had a very unprecedented exchange of visits from Turkiye and from Malaysia to Turkiye. I had the privilege to accompany His Excellency Prime Minister Ismail Sabri Yaqub, and I also, after that, I had the privilege and honor to accompany Their Majesties in their visit to Turkey. It was very important memories for myself. Of course, in the meantime, our Minister of Foreign Affairs visited Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur, at the beginning of August. Then our Minister of Energy visited, and inshallah, at the beginning of October, our Speaker of Parliament actually will visit Kuala Lumpur between 3 and 5th of October. And we hosted Speaker of Parliament of Divan Rakyat actually in Turkey as well in a couple of months ago. And I think these exchange of visits and some signing of different documents, legal documents, agreements, MOUs, as we say, memorandum of understandings, and some other letter of intents between two countries shows the high level of will and understanding to cooperate more and to collaborate in different areas, in many areas for both countries. I think I consider myself lucky and really privileged to serve in Malaysia. First and foremost, is a very dear country for Turkey. It's a friendly country, but of course, at the same time, it's a very important country, playing an important role in the Southeast Asia, and we think that, for example, again turning out to the figures, Malaysia. For Turkey, Malaysia is the number one trade partner in Southeast Asia. We have the biggest trade volume among the ASEAN countries actually with Malaysia, and I think it's going to increase in the future. Also, for example, we have a free trade agreement, and inshallah at the end of September also a senior minister of MITI, the Dato Sri Mohammed Azmin Ali will visit Turkey for the signing ceremony of the expansion of free trade agreement as well. So we have a free trade agreement, but we try to expand it actually. Yes. We decide to expand it. So these are the very, very clear signs for a very bright future for both countries to exchange, to collaborate and improve the relations to the extent possible in the future. Inshallah, we will be observing and we will be witnessing this step altogether.
And you come at the right time, I think, His Excellency, to foster and to deepen that relationship. I would say the strategic comprehensive partnership programs or initiative. So I wish you all the best in this venture, His Excellency, and I would like to thank you, His Excellency Mr. Amir Salim Yüksel, the Ambassador of Turkey to Malaysia, for being with us here today and sharing your view in our program today. And thank you also to the producer, Hajah Mazlina Ismail, and to our technical team. And thank you to all of you for being with us, and hopefully see you in another episode soon.